Hong Kong to 26 countries or regions for free. SAR government officials and lawmakers have concluded their 4-day tour of the Greater Bay Area. Good evening and thanks for joining us. The government announced that the Happy Hong Kong campaign will kick off this Saturday. Authorities are spending $20 million on the project with the aim of boosting local consumption and morale in the post-pandemic city. Bimo Sangai has more.
I would estimate another quarter before you'll see the figures of what they were in the past. But definitely, they're definitely traveling much more, and Hong Kong is back on the route map.
Lan Kwai Fong is not only a landmark for nightlife and restaurants in Hong Kong, but it is also a historic area formerly devoted to hawkers before the Second World War. Mimo Sanai, TVB News.
Meanwhile, Cathay Pacific Airways is offering some 27,000 economy class round-trip tickets from Hong Kong to overseas destinations for free. The giveaway is part of the Hello Hong Kong initiative. It's worth noting the registration website is only available in simplified Chinese characters. To qualify for registration, you must be a Cathay member aged 18 or above. Registrants have until April 30th to apply for the lucky draw. They can pick a preferred destination from 46 cities in 26 countries and regions, including the UK, France, Japan, and Singapore. Ticket winners will be informed via email on May 3rd. The MTR will add 22 more high-speed trains per day running between West Kowloon and Futian stations. The Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority has reportedly completed reviewing the maximum and minimum income levels for the city's pension scheme. Sources say the government is considering the review report. Under the current mechanism, the upper limit for mandatory MPF contributions could be almost doubled, a move that would impact hundreds of thousands of employees. Sharon Tang reports.
Johnny now earns over $30,000 and pays at most $1,500 a month for his mandatory provident fund, or MPF. The 35-year-old has had 5 different jobs and has a total of 5 MPF accounts, but most of them are losing money. The last time MPF contribution levels were adjusted was in 2014. Sources say the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority has completed a review. According to the Labour Earnings and Price Index, the changes between 2014 and 2023 could lead to a change to the maximum income level for the 5% contribution rule from the current $30,000 per month to $55,000. Currently, employers and employees are both required to make mandatory contributions of 5% of an employee's relevant income. Applying the possible changes to the formula, the upper limit for mandatory contributions will be raised from $1,500 to $2,750, affecting some 570,000 employees around town. Johnny said he would be very unwilling to accept such proposals, adding it will be like pouring money into these blood-sucking funds. Hilton owns a tech company. Some 30 people work for the company's Hong Kong branch, where staff are getting paid $30,000 per month on average. He said, if the proposal takes place, I will consider restructuring the company or relocating resources from Hong Kong to Singapore or Greater Bay Area cities. Finance expert Billy Mack thinks there is an urgent need to adjust the MPF given the current inflation and market prices. But lawmaker Leung Man Kwong disagrees, saying it's better to implement the changes by stages or have a cooling-off period. He also suggested the government introduce policies to help the public invest in medical schemes or housing before retirement to better protect themselves. Sharon Tang, TVB News.
Since Hong Kong dropped its mask mandate about 2 months ago, several of the city's medical societies have announced that the SAR is experiencing a rise in pneumococcal infections. Timothy Lee reports. SAR government officials and lawmakers have concluded their 4-day tour of the Greater Bay Area. Hong Kong's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate eased to 3.1% in the January to March period. That's an improvement for the 11th consecutive month. A mass airlift of evacuees has been taking place in Sudan. European nations and other countries have been extracting citizens from Khartoum as fighting continues. David Garrett reports. The EU are discussing their stance on China at a summit in Brussels after the ambassador to Paris suggested former Soviet states owe their sovereignty to Russia and don't have status in international law. The Chinese Foreign Ministry distanced itself from Liu Xiaoye's comments. Spokesperson Mao Ning said, if a nation is ratified by the UN, it is recognized by Beijing. She said after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the various republics have the status of sovereign states. Ambassador Liu made his controversial remarks on Friday and was also quoted as saying Crimea was part of Russia and was offered to Ukraine by former Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev. 80 MEPs have now called on France to declare Liu a persona non grata. Spanish police were involved in a dramatic boat chase as part of a drug investigation. These extraordinary pictures from a helicopter show a speedboat racing away with a police craft in hot pursuit. The fugitives were on an inflatable and did not have enough fuel to get far out to the sea. So the assailants headed for the beach and made a run for it, passing astonished sunbathers resting on the sand. They ran between umbrellas and villas and onto the road. But police caught up with them, arresting 3 people and seizing over 1,000 kilos of hashish. And for the first time, China has released a full-color topographic images of Mars created based on its image data. These 3 pictures were generated from more than 14,000 images taken over 8 months from the Tianwen-1 Mars orbiter since November 2021. Some 22 landforms on the 3 maps, such as craters, were named after famous Chinese villages and towns. They include Mohe and Gutian. Switching gears to more updates on finance. On Wall Street, the Dow is now shedding 0.14%, while S&P 500 is posting a decline of 0.24%. Reeling in tandem, European markets, UK FTSE pairs a modest 0.02%, while the French CAC also down slightly by 0.04%. German DAX, meanwhile, down 0.11%. Over to currency exchange, Hong Kong dollar rates is trading at 7.84 against the greenback, British pound at 9.78, Japanese yen at 5.84, and 100 Hong Kong dollars will get you 87.98 won. Canadian dollars 5.79, Aussie dollar 5.24, Kiwi dollar 4.82, and euro 8.65. And let's take a look at the weather before we go. It will be mainly cloudy with a few showers. Temperatures will range between 22 and 25 degrees Celsius. And that's the news for tonight. Thank you for watching.